Shabbat shalom again, everyone. So based on the trajectory of this semester's lessons, I felt it necessary to revisit a topic that we've looked at some years ago. Seemed like yesterday, but it's been a while since we looked at this particular topic. We're going to do it in two parts. So one for this week and one, hopefully, for next week, Arab Shabbat study. We're going to look at the true shape of the earth. We're going to look at what astronomy says, and we're going to look at what Yah's word say. And we're going to see if we can come to a conclusion and tie it up nicely with a bow and a ribbon. And then we do some assignments where this is concerned, and we move on to the next topic at hand, which will be the food laws, the dietary laws. All right? Sound like a plan?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do this for the next 2 weeks, and then we move on from this on into food laws. And we're going to deal with the food laws really nicely, cool and deadly. And we're going to pull out some nice little things. And we're going to have to change up a lot of things that we've been doing and a lot of things that we've been consuming unknowingly. All right. So to the topic at hand today, the true shape of the earth. Is the earth a ball, which is a sphere, spherical, or is it flat? Is it a plane? The other day the word came to me, planet. Where did they get planet from? And I searched the etymology. And they gave some highfalutin business, but I strongly believe that planet comes from plane, and a plane is a flat object. Anyways, so Yah's word versus astronomy. So the true shape of the earth. So the first thing we're going to look at is the center of the earth. What does astronomy say is the center of the earth or the universe? And then we're going to look at what Yahweh's words say. So according to astronomy, National Geographic, the Earth's core is the very hot, very dense center of our planet. The ball-shaped core lies beneath the cool, brittle crust and the mostly solid mantle. The core is found about 2,900 kilometers, which is 1,802 miles below Earth's surface, and it has a radius of about 3,485 kilometers. That's 2,165 miles. So they're saying when you go deep inside the Earth, 2,900 kilometers inside the Earth, you're going to find the core, which is in the center of the ball. You know, if you open a football, you're going to find something in the middle of the ball, right? More than likely, it's going to be nothing because his ear going the ball and blow it up. But let us imagine that the football had something in the middle. So you would have to open the ball to get into the middle of the ball. There's no other way for you to get there. So you'd have to open the ball and get inside of the middle of the ball. The center of the ball. So the center is not on the surface of the ball. So you can't pick a point on the surface of the ball and say this is the center. For example, where the needle goes. For example, where the needle goes to pump the ball. Right? So you can't identify that area and say that is the center. Because the center can't be on the surface. The ball is a 3D object. The center will have to be inside of the ball. So if the earth is a ball and they say that the core is in the center, then you'd have to dig 2,900 kilometers, as they say, into the earth. And when you dig that far into the earth, you get to the core. And so they say the core now is very hot inside the core. And the core itself has a radius of about 3,485 kilometers. So the core big and hot. Now you tell me, has anyone ever dug and gone inside of the earth?
Yeah, man, I go down into a pit.
Huh?
I go down into a pit.
You go down into a pit.
Yeah.
How deep was the pit?
Anyway, probably one 12 or 13 feet.
12 or 13 feet. You think that can compare to 2,900 kilometers?
Nah.
Okay. Anybody knows what happened when man dig and dig go too far when come across?
There's a
Water.
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 Water. Very good. So anyways, that's the deepest we've ever dug. We dug deep enough to find water. So all of this that we're reading is what?
Fairy tale.
Fairy tale, make-believe, lies, call it what you will. Wikipedia said the Earth's inner core is the innermost geological layer of the planet Earth. It is primarily a solid ball. So the core itself is a ball. So it's a ball in a ball. It's primarily a solid ball with a radius of about 1220 kilometers, which is about 20% of Earth's radius or 70% of the moon's radius. So now they know the size of the moon too. There are no samples of Earth's core accessible. Look now, you know. This is what they say. There are no samples of Earth's core accessible for direct measurement, as there are for Earth's mantle. Information about Earth's core mostly comes from analysis of seismic waves and Earth's magnetic field. So, in other words, this is highfalutin for what the average man would call BS. This is some highfalutin terminology for them to basically say that we don't really know what we're talking about. We just speculate that the Earth has a core. We speculate that the core is very hot because if the surface hot so, then inside must hot. And you wonder why dog dig hole we go lie down in it because it's cool. Anyways, but all of this is basically speculation. Let us look at what Yah's words say. The center of the earth. Jubilees 8:19 says, Yahweh knew that the Garden of Eden is the Holy of Holies and the dwelling of Yahuwah, and Mount Sinai is the center of the desert, and Mount Zion is the center of the navel of the earth. These three were created as holy places facing each other. So according to the Bible, what is at the center of the earth? Center and the navel. So if you don't believe center, you must believe navel. He said two ways. Center of
Mount
the
Zion.
navel. So Zion is in the center. So is Zion in the core?
No.
Zion is on the surface, right?
Yeah.
Ezekiel 5 verse 5. Thus said the Master Yahweh, this is Jerusalem, which I have set in the midst of the nations, with the other lands all around her. So what is at the center of the earth? If Jerusalem is in the midst and Zion is in the center, where is Zion found?
In Jerusalem.
In Jerusalem. So one back up the other, basically, eh?
Yeah.
So the center of a ball is not on its surface, which I have said before. And Zion or Jerusalem would have to be in the earth's core if the globe theory were true. So if the earth is a ball, then Zion would have to be in order for science and the Bible to, what you call it now, to corroborate each other, to be in alignment. Then Zion or Jerusalem would have to be in the earth's core. Unfortunately, Jerusalem and Zion are on the surface of the earth, and we have access to it. We don't have to speculate about it. So then we know that this is basically strike one. The Bible doesn't agree with science here as it relates to the center of the earth, right? Very simple. The four corners of the earth, the next one. Isaiah 11 verse 12. He shall raise a banner for the nations and gather the outcasts of Yisrael and assemble the dispersed of Yehuda from the four corners of the earth. Some people say it's figurative language. Let us look at the Hebrew word for corner. Hebrew word for corner is kanaf. It means wing or extremity. Extremity means end, the end part. Corner, see it's a corner, edge. Edge and end are the same thing. That's how you go.
Right, so.
And see the next one say fold. So where something is folded is an edge. No, that's how you go.
Yeah.
And skirt. When a man talk about outskirts, what him talk about? Not the edge.
Mm-hmm.
On the outskirts of the city, that's the edge of the city, right?
Yeah.
So where are the corners of the globe? This ball here, where is the corner? Where is the fold? Where is the edge? Where is the extremity? There is none. Jeremiah 6:22, another word that was used by another prophet. Thus said Yahweh, see, a people shall come from the land of the north, and a great nation is stirred up from the sides of the earth. What is the Hebrew word used there for sides? Yereka. It means flank, side, extreme parts, recesses. Those who play football. One name flank.
Right out on the line.
Right out on the line, sideline,
Sideline them, yeah.
side. Where is the side on the ball? Where is the recess? Recess is something that receives water in a bridge. A recess is something that receives something. Where is the recess on this ball here? Where is the side? So it makes no sense. We're gonna compare this thing here to Yahweh's word. This is basically the description that Yahweh gives for the earth. And these seem like very trivial scriptures to be using. But the architecture of the earth is pretty simple. It tells us how it works in Genesis 1. It's pretty simple, so I don't know how they come up with the globe anyways. How about the foundations of the earth? This is a good one. Science give us a nice little explanation for what holds up this earth here that they say that we live in. So according to science, astronomy, the earth's axis is an imaginary straight line around which the earth spins once per day. The two locations where the axis and the earth's surface intersect define the geographic North Pole at a latitude of 90 degrees north and the geographic South Pole at a latitude of 90 degrees south. That's astroforeducation.org. Spaceplace.nasa.gov says Earth's axis is an imaginary pole. So I give more than one source that tells us that it is an imaginary pole. The Earth's axis is an imaginary pole going right through the center of the Earth from top to bottom. It's imaginary, but it still goes through the Earth center from top to bottom. And the Earth spins around this pole, making one complete turn each day. That is why we have day and night. So you hear why we have day and night? No, not why Genesis tell you, but it's the axis. But all the Earth and make the Earth spin, that is why you have day and night, and why every part of Earth's surface gets some of each. Wikipedia says the rotational axis of Earth, for example, is the imaginary line that passes through both the North and South Pole, whereas the Earth's orbital axis is the line perpendicular to the imaginary plane through which the Earth moves as it revolves around the Sun. The Earth's obliquity or axial tilt is the angle between these two lines. Big words, basically telling us that they are done. So, the foundation of astronomy's Earth is an imaginary line. That is what holds up the Earth, the axis. Because when you go to school, they tell you that the axis, the Earth is tilted on its axis as it spins, right? And the axis keeps it nice and neat and clean. So that would be the foundation according to astronomy, right? And so you go. Or I'm mistaken. It was a long time I stopped going schooling.
Yes, I
That's
do.
right. That's right. Yeah, that would be the foundation.
All right. So let us look at Yahweh's word now to see what is the foundation of the earth. National Geographic also says the axis is an invisible line around which an object rotates or spins. So in other words, it is not real because all of the sources tell us that it is imaginary. It's invisible. So it's not real. It is make-believe. It does not exist. It is a figment of man's imagination. It is a delusion. Nothing no go so. Yahweh's word. Isaiah 24 verse 18. It shall be that he who flees from the noise of the fair falls into the pit, and he who comes up from the midst of the pit is caught in the snare. For the windows from on high shall be opened, and the foundations of the earth be shaken. It doesn't tell us what the foundation of the earth is here, but it tells us that it have a foundation, and the foundation will be shaken. So we're going to look at the Hebrew word for foundation. The Hebrew word for foundation is Mosadah. And when you look at the ancient Hebrew lexicon, it means, look here, a what?
A level
Level
place.
place.
A level
Of
place.
ground. A level
Even if
piece of ground. Yeah. For planting
precisely.
crops. Mm-hmm.
And for those who are familiar with construction, even if you're building on a slope hillside, you have to find some form of level to ground your house. That's what a foundation is. The foundation must be sturdy, must be level, so it don't move. So it hold up the things. A level place, a level piece of ground for planting crops or setting up tents or structures. And in this case, the structure would be the earth. So in order for Yahweh to say that the foundation of the earth is shaken, then whatever the earth stands upon, that level piece of something there, it will be shaken. That's how I go.
Yes.
And not an invisible line.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the sun. According to astronomy, the sun is the only star in our solar system. Do you hear that? NASA science, you know. The sun is the only star in our solar system, and by solar system, they mean where the earth there. It is the center of our solar system. So the sun is the center of the solar system. And its gravity, the sun's gravity, holds the solar system together. So it's the sun will have the gravity that hold the solar system together. Everything in our solar system revolves around the sun, the planets, the asteroids, the comets, and tiny bits of space debris. So the sun stand up one place, everybody move around the sun. That is what NASA is saying. According to Khan Academy, early astronomers developed the geocentric model based on the apparent motion of the sun and stars. In this model, Earth is at the center of the universe, and the geocentric model was later replaced by the heliocentric model. In this model, the sun is at the center of the universe. In reality, the sun is only at the center of our solar system and not the entire universe. So then people are confused, Virgin, because initially they believed that the earth was at the center. Then them dash that and them take up the heliocentric model, which says that the sun is at the center of the universe. And now they're saying that the sun is actually not at the center of the universe, but only at the center of our solar system, because the universe is bigger than the solar system. These are mad people. And I will not proceed to explain madness
Yeah, but
to you.
pardon me, based upon these definition or whatever they call it of the whole thingy, that means the earth then would have hung up in the heavens as well, based upon the scriptures. Because if the scripture said that the sun, the luminaries were placed in the skies or in the heavens to provide light. So if based upon their um understanding or their definition or their whole theory thing about the sun and all of these things. That means the earth supposed to be hanging above or in the heavens as well.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay,
I believe in the space thing, so Earth is in space revolving.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. Look at what Wikipedia says now. Wikipedia says the center of the universe is a concept. Once you hear concept, what I tell you?
Their idea.
Idea. When you hear about concept car, it's a car that somebody draw, but it not make it. Somebody draw it and put it down and say, I want to make this, but it has not been made as yet. Concept car. I have a lot of those on the internet. You see a nice looking car and you wonder what is concept. It's a concept. Somebody sat on a computer and designed it, but it's not real. It does not exist. So the center of the universe is a concept that lacks a coherent definition in modern astronomy. According to standard cosmological theories on the shape of the universe, it has no distinct spatial center. Historically, different people have suggested various locations as the center of the universe. So they don't, basically. They don't know. If you study long enough, you'll realize. So NASA tell you that the sun is the center. Somebody else tell you that one time we believe that it was the earth, another time we believe it was the sun, and now we're understanding, as they say, now they are understanding that the sun is just the center of the solar system, but the universe is bigger than the solar system. And solar system gets its name from the sun. So the sun have a system where it rule, and somebody else have one different system somewhere out in the universe. I don't know how it works. I have to ask them. Wikipedia is giving it to us plain and straight. Wikipedia said different people say different things. They don't know what they are saying. It's just a concept and it lacks a coherent. Coherent means something that is what you call it again now? Coherent means it congruent, so it keeps it's consistent. So it flows come down the line nice and neat, and you can follow it nicely. So when somebody is speaking coherently, it means that you can follow their speech. If your speech is incoherent, I can't understand because it over here, it over there. So when Wikipedia said it lacks a coherent definition, it means that 1 minute them say something, another minute them say something else. So they don't know what they're speaking of, basically. So astronomy says the sun is the center of the solar system, meaning the sun is the only fixed object in the solar system. So the sun alone stays one place. Everybody else moves according to astronomy. Therefore, common sense suggests that if all else is moving and one thing is fixed, then your anchor point should be the fixed object. Am I wrong in my assessment? Would you agree? If everything else is moving, one single thing is fixed, and you need to have an anchor, then what will you anchor yourself to?
To the fixed object.
The fixed object. So the sun should be the fixed object, right?
Yeah.
All right. They say the earth is spinning on an axis, which is rotation, while going around the sun, which is revolution. So it's two different spinning that are going on. So imagine, in basketballers put the ball on their finger and they spin it. And the ball is spinning on the one finger, they just spin the ball and you see it spinning on the finger. That would be rotation. So that's how they say the earth is rotating. And then now, as the man who is spinning the ball on his finger walks around the room, the walk that he's walking with the ball around the room would be the revolution. So the ball is going around the sun while it is spinning on the finger. So the finger would be the axis, rotating. There's a whole heap of spinning that taking place, a whole heap of movement. All this then means that north, south, east, and west should all be in relation to the sun, if the sun is the anchor point of the solar system. The rotation of the earth then means that at some point in time, countries that are in the west should end up in the east, and vice versa. No, so you go because the cardinal points are fixed, as they say. They say the cardinal points are fixed. You know, that's why you can't. Them say you can't find. Once you find not, you're good. But if the Earth is spinning, then the cardinal point should be spinning as well. It's a whole heap of madness. This must be extremely.
I had a conversation with somebody last week. This, I think, through the course of this week in regards to the whole thingy. And this person said there's somebody at his workplace said to him that the only way he believes that the earth move is he live in Manchester and he works in and he leave and go to work. When he left back for home, he should have if he find himself in Spanish Town or Kingston, then at that point he will believe that the earth is moving. So based upon what you just said a while ago in regards to the different areas that the earth you should have been when the earth moved.
Yeah. So all this must be extremely confusing, and here's why. The cardinal points, which are north, south, east, and west, are only applicable to a flat surface model and cannot be applied to a ball. Think about it. North, south, east, and west. That's a two-dimensional kind of directional positioning. North, south, east, and west. If you think about it, you can't apply this to a ball. Science says the cardinal points are fixed, and indeed they are. And this can only be so because the earth is flat. You have to put down, if you write north, south, east, west on piece of paper, you have to put it down flat. Now so you go. For you to know where is north, south, east, and west. Now so you go.
Yeah.
It doesn't work with a ball, brethren. Can't work with a ball. And these things are very simple. And anyways, let us look at what Yah's words say about the sun. Because according to astronomy, the sun stays one place and everything else moves around the sun. 3 Ezra 4 verse 34. Gentlemen, are not women strong? The earth is vast, and heaven is high, and the sun is swift in its course, for it makes the circuit of the heavens and returns to its place in one day. So according to this book, what moves? Is the heaven move?
The sun.
The sun.
Is the earth move? When him say vast or the heaven were high? It said the sun moves in the heaven. That's what it said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, man, jump up and say that's an extra biblical book. So we're going to give him Enoch 41:4. Man, jump up again and says that extra biblical book. Fine. Enoch says, I beheld also the receptacles of the sun. In order for the sun to have a receptacle, in order for the sun to have something to receive it, then it means that the sun goes and comes. Now say go.
Yes. Yes.
In order for somebody to receive, you must have gone and coming back and be coming back. So I beheld also the receptacles of the sun and the moon, whence they came, where they proceeded, and their glorious return. All of this sound like movement language, don't?
Yeah.
How one became more splendid than another, and I marked their rich progress. Progress suggests movement. Their unchangeable progress, movement again. Their disunited and undiminished progress, movement again. Their observance of a mutual fidelity by a stable oath. The sun goes out first, movement, and completes its journey, movement, in obedience to the command of Yahuwah, Sevaot. Let us take one from the regular canon that a lot of persons accept as authoritative. Ecclesiastes 1:5 and 6. The sun also rises. The Hebrew word there for rises is bo. Not bo. The Hebrew word for set is bo. I don't remember the one for rise, but the one for rise is it means to appear. comes in. And the one for set means to go out. So the sun comes in and goes out and hurries back to the place where it arose. The sun goes to the south, turn round to the north, turning, and on its rounds the wind returns. What is moving there? The earth?
The sun.
Psalm 19, another authoritative book as they would have it. Verse 4 to 6. Their line has gone through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them, the heaven is the them. In them he set up a tabernacle for the sun. What is a tent or a tabernacle? What is a tent or a tabernacle?
Not dwelling place.
Dwelling, temporary dwelling.
So a dwelling is set up for the sun. And the sun now is like a bridegroom coming out of his room. Now you tell me, if the sun is like a bridegroom who come out of his room, is what move? The room move?
No. The object that is in the room.
Object.
It rejoices like a strong man to run the path. What moves? The path or the strong man?
Strong man.
The sun's rising is from one end of the heavens, and its circuit is to the other end, and nothing is hidden from its heat. So it basically, this verse is saying that because the sun rises in one end of the heaven and circuits goes round to the other end, nothing can be hidden from its heat because it makes a full circle movement. Everybody catch peace sign. So nothing can be hidden from the sun's heat because the sun goes around. So according to the Bible, the sun moves. According to astronomy, the earth moves around the sun. Enoch 72, verse 45 and 47. This is the law and progress of the sun. When you say progress, you know movement. It's turning when it turns back. Same thing that we saw in Psalm 19 and Ecclesiastes. Turning during 60 days and going forth. All of this is movement language. This is the great everlasting luminary, that which he names the sun forever and ever. Thus it goes in and out. It never slacks nor rests. If something does not rest, it means that it keeps moving, right? Keeps working. It's on the go.
Yeah.
But running on its chariot day by day and by night. And its light is 7 times brighter than that of the moon, but the dimensions of both are equal. Make sure you're not writing on the book, you know. I say, you can always come back to your presentation when you get on home. Joshua 10, watch this. Then Joshua spoke to Yahweh in the day when Yahweh gave the Amorites over to the children of Yisrael, and he said before the eyes of Yisrael, look what Joshua said, sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon, stand still in the valley of Ireland. And so the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself upon their enemies. Is this not written in the book of Yashar? Thus the sun stopped in the midst of the heavens, and did not hasten to go down for an entire day. So according to Joshua, the son of Nun, who brought the children of Israel into the promised land, what moves? The earth or the sun and the moon? Which one of them?
Sun and the moon.
And we see the account in Joshua. And we see the second account in Joshua 88, verse 63 to 64. Same rhetoric. You can read it for yourselves. Isaiah 38. This is the sign to you from Yahuwah that Yahuwah does this word which he has spoken. So this is Hezekiah. This is the prophet Isaiah speaking to Hezekiah, the king of Yahudah. in those days. So I think this was the time when Isaiah was sent to tell Hezekiah to get your affairs in order, you are going to die. Isaiah left the room, Hezekiah kissing teeth, and lie down in his bed, turn him back and pray to Yahweh and tell Yahweh, I am not ready to go. I am begging you some time. By Isaiah catch out of the courtyard, the ruach go back to Isaiah and tell Isaiah, say, go back to Hezekiah and tell him that I will give him some more time. Isaiah go back to Hezekiah, tell him that Yahweh says, I am going to give you some more time to live. And Hezekiah asked him, what is the sign that this will be so? And this is how we arrive at verse 7 and verse 8. So this is a sign to you from Yahweh that Yahweh does this word which he has spoken. Yahweh says, see, I am bringing the shadow on the sundial, which has gone down with the sun. So the shadow gone down with the sun on the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward. And the sun, as a result, returned 10 degrees on the dial by which it had gone down. So the sun moved and gone about in business, and Yahuwah bring the sun back. So if Yahuwah bring back the sun, and Joshua stop the sun from move, then what moves according to the Bible, brethren? We're seeing countless scriptures telling us the same thing. What moves?
The sun.
The sun moves.
2 Kings 20, another account of the same story. Isaiah said, this is a sign for you from Yahuwah that Yahuwah does the word which he has spoken. Isaiah asked him, shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees or go backward 10 degrees? Hezekiah said, I'm madman, man, it would be easier for it to go 10 degrees because the sun will go that direction. So it will go down 10 degrees, that easy match that. Then say, make it go backward 10 degrees. And Isaiah the prophet cried out to Yahuwah, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backwards by which it had gone down on the sundial of Ahaz. So the sun moves according to the scripture. We can't go around that. We have countless scriptures telling us that it is the sun that moves, brethren. Just the action of, even science tell us about sunrise and sunset. That alone tell you that it is the sun. They should have found some other name for it when they decided that they were going to try to sell us a ball image. They should have come up with something else other than sunrise and sunset. Should I call it spin round and spin back or something? Anyways, gravity is the next one. In physics, gravity comes from gravitas, which means weight, from the Latin gravitas, which means weight. Gravity is a fundamental interaction primarily observed as mutual attraction between all things that have mass. So everything that carries a weight, they say some form of gravitational relationship exists between that object and the environment. So basically they're saying that, like myself sitting on this chair, gravity holds me down to the chair because of my weight, my mass. So gravity holds me down to the chair. Gravity is most accurately described by the general theory of relativity. So gravity, watch this now, because when I tell people this, people jump at me and say gravity is a law. Because it is a law, it's facts, because I said that there is no fact behind gravity. Because what they do is they coin the term and say the law of gravity. But in order for you to explain the law of gravity, look what you say. Gravity is most accurately described by the general theory of relativity. And in order for you, if you are to explain a concept or a position that you have, and you have to use a theory, which is something that somebody imagine and said, this is possibly how it happens or how it works, then it means that what you are trying to describe is also a what?
Theory.
A theory, the figment of your imagination. And it was proposed by Albert Einstein in 1915. So what is something this in a version? It's just a compounding, which describes gravity not as a force, but as the curvature of space-time caused by the uneven distribution of mass and causing masses to move along geodesic lines. Highfalutin for foolishness, basically. The nature and mechanism of gravity were explored by a wide range of ancient scholars. In Greece, Aristotle believed that objects fell towards the earth because the earth was the center of the universe and attracted all of the mass in the universe towards it. He also thought that the speed of a falling object should increase with its weight, a conclusion that was later shown to be false. So not because somebody bright put forward something means that it is right. Because Aristotle is regarded as one of the greatest philosophers to have ever lived. When you hear about Plato and Aristotle and all of these men are bright men, and Albert Einstein, a lot of these things that they presented are now being shown to be false. That's why we stick to the Bible and the Bible only, because all of these men are madmen. And when you see images of them, you see that they are madmen. In the 7th century CE, the Indian mathematician and astronomer Brahma Gupta proposed the idea that gravity is an attractive force that draws objects to the earth, and used the term Gurutvaskarsan to describe it. In the ancient Middle East, gravity was a topic of fierce debate. The Persian intellectual Al-Biruni believed that the force of gravity was not unique to the earth, and he correctly assumed that other heavenly bodies should exert a gravitational attraction as well. All of these are assumptions, brethren, because they never ever see one next heavenly body more than the sun and the moon and the stars. I guarantee you that. Everything else is make-believe. All of the asteroids that them tell us out there and we might crash into the earth, madness, nothing no go so. In contrast, Al-Kazini held the same position as Aristotle, that all matter in the universe is attracted to the center of the earth. So in other words, different people believe different things and they debate it, and basically who win is who have the most money, or who have the most influence, or who controls the media. Spaceplace.nasa.gov says that gravity is the force by which a planet or other body draws object towards its center. The force of gravity keeps all of the planets in orbit around the sun. So gravity in mechanics, according to Britannica, is the universal force of attraction acting between all bodies of matter. It is by far the weakest known force in nature and thus plays no role in determining the internal properties of everyday matter. And this is what I have a serious issue with. So they are saying that gravity is by far the weakest known force in nature, right? Everybody hear that? Gravity is the weakest known force in nature, that meaning weak like rat.
Yeah.
And they say that gravity is the reason why all of the countries stay seated in the sea and don't fly off into space. Gravity is the reason why the sea itself don't fly off into space. Gravity is the reason why the skyscraper stays on the ground and does not fly off into space, but it is the weakest known force in nature. These people take us for idiots, brethren. These people take us for serious idiots. Anyways, gravity is a theory.
The question I would ask, though, is what are the other forces that they are referring to?
You'd have to ask them. So gravity is a theory. It is a concept. In other words, it's not real. It does not exist. It is a figment of people that the world consider to be bright imagination. It is a delusion. It is designed to delude us from the truth. According to Yahuwah's word, in Enoch 18, he said, I then surveyed the receptacles of all the winds, perceiving that they contributed to adorn the whole creation and to guard the foundation of the earth, not gravity. I surveyed the stone which supports the corners of the earth, not gravity, not the axis, not any of that foolishness. I also beheld the four winds which bear up the earth, and the expanse of heaven. The expanse of heaven is the firmament. And I beheld the winds occupying the exalted sky. So these are different type of winds, arising in the midst of heaven and of earth, and constituting the pillars of heaven. So heaven have pillar where hold him up. I saw the winds which turned the sky, which caused the orb of the sun and of all the stars to set. And over the earth I saw the winds which support the clouds, and I perceived that the extremity of the earth, the expanse of heaven above it. Then I passed on towards the south. So at the extremity of the earth, according to Enoch, is the heaven above it. Once you go to the end of the earth, wherever side, if you want to go top, side or side, you walk up on heaven. And that is what we see, the design we saw in Genesis. Enoch 18, there I saw a place on the other side of an extended territory where waters were collected. So waters are collected at the end of the earth. You can't have that on a bar. I likewise beheld terrestrial fountains deep in the fiery columns of heaven. So heaven have column bridge, holding it up. No gravity. Enoch 32 verse 2, to the east of these beasts I perceived the extremities of the earth where heaven ceased. So heaven have a stopping point. On a ball there is no stopping point for heaven. The gates of heaven stood open, and I beheld the celestial stars come forth. Enoch 75:12, 12 gates I beheld in heaven at the extremities of the earth, through which the sun, the moon, and the stars and all the works of heaven proceed at their setting and their rising. So the bodies move. Next one, a flooded ball. A flooded ball. Genesis 6. In the 600th year of the life of Noah, in the second new moon, the 7th day of the moon, on that day all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the heavens were open. Verse 17, and the flood was on the earth 40 days. Verse 19, and the waters were exceedingly mighty on the earth, and all the high mountains under all the heavens were covered. Can you flood a ball?
No.
You can flood a ball, yes. You can flood it from the inside, but according to them, we live on the surface of the ball. And you can't flood the surface of the ball. Deuteronomy 4:32. Ask now of the days that are past, which were before you, since the day that Elohim created man on the earth, and ask from one end of the heavens to the other end of the heavens, whether there has been a word as great as this. Deuteronomy 13:7, of the mighty ones of the people, which are all around you, near to you or far off from you, from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. So Yahweh like to send us. When he's asking us to search out the entire earth, himself from one end to the other end. Show me the end, show me the edge, show me the border, show me the extremities of a ball. See the Hebrew word that's used for end? Katse. And it literally means to cut. Show me the cutoff point on the bar. Show me the border. Show me the edge. Show me the coast. There is none, because the earth is not a bar. Watch this now. Jubilees 2. On the second day, verse 4, Yahweh created the expanse. That's a firmament. That's where we get all our oxygen from. That's what our eyes behold. In the midst of the waters. So the firmament came to be in the midst of the waters. So if you have water, And you call for a space. Make we use the word space. You call for a piece of space or a piece of bubble in the midst of the waters, then what is going to be all around that piece of space that you call for it?
Water.
The water going the top, bottom, beside, behind, below, be front, be back, all direction is supposed to be water, no say go?
Right. So
Because there was only water at first, and you call for a space in the middle of the water. So all around that space is going to be water. This is common sense, brethren. Anyways, we continue reading. And the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up above, and half of them went down below the expanse that was in the midst over the face of the whole earth. And the expanse, you notice, he said that the expanse, the firmament, was over the face of the whole earth. And this was the only work Elohim created on the second day. And this is what our eyes behold on a daily basis. That's why we believe the Bible, because that's what our eyes see. We see the firmament on the face of the earth. The firmament literally sit down on the face of the earth. So. And you can look up and you see the stars, you see the moon, you see the sun, you see the clouds, you see the rainbow. You see all of these things that are in the expanse, in the firmament. That's why Psalm 19 said, the heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, and the firmament show it his handiwork. The handiwork is the cloud, the sun, the moon, the stars. Exodus 20, verse 4. So you notice you start to get some above and beneath kind of argument here. So if you're taking astronomy's description of our planet, of our earth, of our landmass that we live on, then above us, below us, behind us, beside us is what? Space, no say go.
yeah, yes, right. So
And Jubilees tell us that above us and below us is what?
water.
Water. Exodus 20, verse 4. You do not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or that which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. Deuteronomy 4:39, you shall know today and shall recall to your heart that Yahweh himself is Elohim in the heavens above and on the earth beneath. There is no one else. Look at this one now. Jeremiah 51 verse 16, because a lot of persons might ask, why are you giving us these scriptures? Look at Jeremiah 51:16. When Yahweh gives forth his voice, what happens? The waters where roar? Where are the waters? The waters in the
heavens.
And where is
Heaven.
heaven? According to
Above.
Deuteronomy 4 and Exodus 20 verse 4, where is heaven?
Above.
Above.
Above. So the whole of scripture is aligning, colluding in relation to the position of heaven and what is there. Heaven is above, and there is water above us. And we're going to concretize this next week, in next week's lesson. Deuteronomy 28:32. And your heavens which are over your head shall be bronze, and the earth which is under you iron. So the heaven above your head shall be bronze, means that we now going to send no rain. And the earth is going to be iron, which means that because no rain falls, then no plant will grow. So in scripture, we see a clear outline of waters above heaven, heaven above earth, earth under heaven, and above water, and water under earth. In other words, the order is at the top, you have waters, which is called the top waters. Below that is heaven, which is the hard surface that supports the top waters. So heaven is a hard surface. That's why when Elon Musk fly him something, them rocket, you see it bursts when it reach a certain level. It hit the hard surface, boss. Below the hard surface, which is heaven, that supports the water, is earth, which is what we walk up and down every day and take bus and go to work. And below that is the bottom waters, which is the abyss, the fountains of the deep. That is the structure we see in scripture, not a ball, a hierarchy. Water, earth, heaven, water. With the globe theory, there should be heaven above, heaven below, heaven beside, and heaven all around. Space, 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 space. Because I say space right around the ball. Space, space, and space kill you. Conclusion. Enoch 31, 1 to 3. All who are in the heavens know what is transacted, that the heavenly luminaries change not their path. If something have a path, it means that something walks, it travels. No, so you go.
Yes, sir.
That each rises and sets regularly, everyone at its proper period, without transgressing the commands. They behold the earth and understand what is there transacted from the beginning to the end of it. That every work of Elohim is invariable in the period of its appearance. They behold summer and winter. That the whole earth is full of water, and that the cloud, the dew, and the rain refresh it. It's pretty simple. Psalm 104, verse 1. Bless Yahweh, O my soul. O Yahweh, my Elohim, you have been very great. You have put on excellency and splendor, covering yourself with light as with a garment, and stretching out the heavens like a curtain. You ever see a curtain go around about it? Curtain go over a flat surface, don't it?
Yep.
Anyways, look at verse 3. Verse 3 is the most important one. We're going to pick up next week, and I'm going to solidify this thing here and wrap it up nicely. Verse 3 says, because remember, we're coming from verse 2. Verse 1, which says, bless Yahweh. So we're talking about Yahweh. Yahweh covers himself with light. Yahweh stretches out the heavens like a curtain. Watch this now. Yahweh lays the beams of his upper rooms in the what?
Waters.
In the water. So it means that wherever Yahweh lives, him live which part?
In the heavens are waters.
Yahweh lives in the
Water is there.
waters.
Okay.
Who is making thick clouds his chariot, who is walking on the wings of the wind. So Yahweh lives in the water. So what is above us? Water, not space. Water. I will go and concretize it next week and wrap it up nice and neat. Making his angels the winds, his servants a flame of fire. Watch this now. He established the earth on its foundations so that it would not totter forever. You know what word is totter? What totter mean?
Shift and move out of it.
Move.
Unstable.
Can't move, virgin. Can't move, but science tell us it spin. And move same time. They rotate and revolve at the same time. But according to the Bible, it does not move because it's set on a foundation, not an invisible line, which is what they call the axis. So it does not move forever. It cannot move. You covered it with the deep as with a garment. Where him cover? With the deep.
The earth.
The earth. What is the deep?
You see?
Water. So that means there's water all around the earth. Now, so you go, Bridget?
Yeah.
Watch this now.
Yeah.
Water stood above the mountains. Which water is it talk about?
The heaven.
The heaven. The same water
The
where you
heaven.
lay beam for him upper room.
Yeah.
When him dig him foundation in the water, Bridget. Stood above the mountains. At your rebuke they flee, at the voice of your thunder they hurry away. They go up the mountains, so the water goes up the mountains, and they go down the valleys, and to the place which you have founded for them. And you set a boundary, and they do not pass over. they do not return to cover the earth. So this is why they can't, and that's why science will tell you that there are places that are below sea level, which is true, but they cannot give you an explanation as to why the sea does not go and cover those places. You ever driving in a vehicle and approaching the sea and it look like the sea is above you? Anybody ever have that experience
Yeah,
before?
several times. All the while.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
actually above you. But science can't tell you why the sea doesn't come on the land. The Bible tells us a boundary was set for the sea, for the water, and it does not pass its boundary. It does not return to cover the earth. So who hold the water, brethren? Gravity?
No?
Yahuwah.
Psalm 19. The heavens are declaring the esteem of Elohim, and the firmament is declaring the work of his hand. Their line went out to all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. And in the heaven Yahweh set up a tabernacle, a dwelling place for the sun. And the sun is like a bridegroom who comes out of his room. Again, is not the room that moves. So if the sun was fixed and the earth was moving, then the Bible is a lie. And we are Bible people, so we throw away science and we work with what the Bible says. The sun is like a bridegroom who come out of his room. Is not the room come out of the man. Is the man come out of the room. The sun rejoices like a strong man to run the path. The path don't run left the man. Is the man run the path. Its rising is from one end of the heavens and its circuit to the other end. Nothing is hidden from its heat thereof. So the heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, not the imaginations of mankind. The esteem of the Creator and not the theories of the created. So we dash with the globe and we work with what we see in the Torah, which is a flat earth. And then I show you a little smalls, and we call it a night. All right. So, if you were to fly from New Zealand, which is here, not seeing this thing here, what is happening in the government's country?
We're not seeing anything.
Yeah, I know. So if you were to fly from New Zealand, which is right here, seen it? New Zealand, and you want to go to Doha, Qatar, that's in the Middle East. When you pay attention to the position and you notice this is Middle East and this is Egypt, right? Africa here, so Israel, everything attached. Notice how we're coming from below, a little bit below Australia here, New Zealand. The most frequent route that planes take is this route. They go up and come, so. Or they go here. They go to Tokyo and go here. And this is Shanghai, China, and go here. Some of them, there's a claim that some of them go through Australia, which is Melbourne or Sydney, and go up. But these are the most frequent routes. I'm going to show you two examples. And just the time that they give you, show you that this is not believable. Because of these two, which one look longer? Which one should be longer? Not even look longer, but which one should be longer if geometry should be believed?
The one that is above.
This
The
one,
top,
right?
that extreme one, yeah.
Look at the time. 23 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you travel China way, look at the time. 24 hours and 25 minutes. No make no sense, don't?
No.
No, go make no sense.
Unless the plane them where you use slow.
It's slower plane. No, go make no sense. Let me see how big I can get this thing here now. It's as big as we can get it. Can get a full screen. Lovely. All right. So New Zealand would be somewhere here, because this is Australia. So this would be New Zealand. And we're trying to get here. So this is a flat Earth. This is how the Earth should look. This is the moon, this is the sun, and they spin like this. This is Africa. This would be Egypt. This would be Israel. Qatar would be somewhere here. Middle East. United Arab Emirates. Doha, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. All of them. Now you see why the plane fly and look that way, how it look on Google Earth. Because in New Zealand here, no one straight line this. No one straight line this.
Yeah.
And when you come through here, so guess where you pass? Tokyo, Shanghai, China. One straight line. I'll show you another one. These are flights from Argentina to Qatar. This is a journey that the footballers took going to the World Cup. This one in pink, where you see a hovering over. So they travel to Rome. So they leave Argentina, go to Rome in Italy, and then make them way to Qatar. 20 hours, 20 minutes. Don't make any sense. Why would they travel this way? You see, do you notice how much flight got away there and just two look at something come this way, so they hardly do this route. Most of them go up, come down. So we're going from Argentina in South America to Qatar in the Middle East. Let us look at the flat earth. Argentina would be here because this is South America, this is North America, so this is Canada, US, Mexico. Mexico come down, come touch South America here, so we I think Belize them and then Brazil over here, so Argentina is below Brazil right here. So this is Argentina, and we are going to Qatar over here, so. And this is Europe. So you come from Argentina, and you come straight, so watch out. Argentina, come straight, Rome, Qatar. So something right, Virgin. Something ain't right. And we can't believe the maps either. There's something else I need to show you. Let me not use this. Let us go to this. So this is Google Earth. They claim is a very powerful tool. I beg to differ. Google Earth can measure Google Earth has the ability to measure points and give you the area from one area to the other. So I'm going to use the measuring tool. You can do this yourself. You go on Google Earth, you use this ruler here, and you go and draw around. So we're going to draw around Portugal. Well, it's Portugal and Spain, because Portugal and Spain share border. You see, you get a closed shape, and it gives you a lot of information. Perimeter, 3,886 kilometers. The area, 885,000 kilometers square. Nice. X off that. You can even measure all around the entire continent. Let us take Africa, for example. So Going measure around Africa. So Africa will start here, come this way, come this way, come this way, come so. Come this way, come this way, come this way, come this way. Try come back down now. And then we're going to come and meet back this one right here. So you get a closed shape, nice closed shape, give you your information, nice and neat. You measure your continents. What's the point of all of this? There is something they call a continent, and them say they are the South Pole. So you have to go under the bottom of the earth, so to speak, the bottom of the ball to find it. This is called Antarctica. If this is a continent, then we should be able to measure around it like Africa. Look what happens when you try to measure Antarctica. Nice and neat, nice little close shape. I will close the shape right here, so can't close. Why it can't close? No matter how much you try, I've done this before. For those who aren't new to it, and you see the same result. And if you try from another direction, everybody can go and try this themselves. Why you can't close it? I'll show you why. Antarctica, my dear brothers and sisters, is not a continent. Antarctica is the border of our world. It's called the ice wall. Nobody has ever been past it. And if you read up on Antarctica, not many persons can go there because all the world countries signed a treaty that nobody will go down there, nobody will do any experiment, nobody will do any research. And Antarctica is a protected territory, and there are military bases in Antarctica. This is Antarctica, not some continent at the bottom of the earth. They've been lying to us. And I'm going to prove that you cannot believe the map. You see, where are we now? You see this country here, sir? My name Greenland. This country that is called Greenland. Let us look at it in proportion to South America. All of us have eyes. All of us have the ability to size up things. This is larger than this, right?
Yes.
Based on the map, this is larger. South America can fit into Greenland, don't it?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Let us ask Google how much bigger is South America than Greenland. South America is about 8 times larger than Greenland. So Greenland can fit 8 times into South America, but your map is showing you a Greenland that is bigger than South America. And we can go on for days with a lot of the countries, brethren. Africa, extremely huge. This, where them call Russia, all of this is where them call Russia, where Africa look like him can fit in it. I know so it work. Russia can't walk near Africa with land size, brethren. America can't walk near none of them over here so with land size. This is very small. These are extremely small. What they did is that they made the white countries bigger on the maps. It's called geopoliticalism. Or geopolitics, sorry. So immediate persons looking at a map are going to assume that bigger countries are more powerful countries, right? Now, so you go. You see a country and it big, you assume that the country is powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bigger a country is, they say the more powerful a country. And that's why they draw these countries as so large, as being so large. But all the maps of the world are incorrect. Every single one of them. There are no accurate maps, brethren. Every last one of them wrong. Every last one wrong. I bear like them, I tell you about the route where the plane take and all of these things. All lies. Every single thing I lie. I just prove it a while ago. And if you don't believe, you can check multiple sources. You don't have to just believe Google. Because see it here? Greenland have a surface area of, what is? No man. South America have a surface area of 17 million. Greenland have a surface area of 2 million. All in time, 8 times. More than 8 times. And it is the same for a lot of countries. Anyways, we call it there for the night. I probably can show you a video or something that gives you a better depiction of what Yahweh's creation would look like. So this is the earth, basically, and these are all the luminaries rotating in the dome. The dome, this would be the expanse. So none of this not real, Rona. So all of them star outside of us, that not real. Them supposed to be inner. So above this should be water. This dome here above it, water. Below it, water, everything are water. And Yahweh throne set up nice and neat. I think I have a picture of the throne somewhere there about. Maybe not there, so thought I had it. But yeah, let me see if this one show the sun and the moon moving. No, it not show it a moving. I want to show it moving, but basically, yeah. And if you don't believe me on the flat earth and this map here, I wonder where it come from. This map. If you don't believe, then you can take a look at the United Nations flag and then logo. Now the same map, this is Russia. This is Alaska. A lot of persons don't know that America and Russia share borders, and that's why they war. This is Russia. This is Alaska. And you go down into Alaska, come down into America. They share borders. The map where you learn at school not teach them something. This is the United Nations logo, Virgin. So we call a spade a spade. Anyways, that is it. Questions, concerns, comments, loud outbursts.
Those circles that is on the map, the flat map thingy, and
The UN one?
yeah, even the UN one too. Yeah, that those represent the part of the sun where the windows, the different windows and different course that the sun runs.
Them only have 5. So I don't think so.
Yeah, but no, the UN one only have 5, but the other one have about the other one would have 7.
It would be there about.
Yeah, the other
I
one
don't
have
know
7.
why they have those lines though.
So would I say the first one, the extreme one would be the border then, and then the other ones that are in the inner ones would be the part where the sun run its course.
Mm-hmm. There's a whole heap of thing, Virgin. Material for days we can go on and on and ending with this thing, even with the equator. And because I said that the countries that lie around the equator should be hot. That's what them say. Tropical countries.
So the one that is closer to the equator of ocean,
Yeah.
hotter, yeah.
They are hotter countries. You have countries where, based on the map where them give you and you draw the line for the equator, you have countries that those are not hot places and them experience winter and snow. Even in America, there are states in America where the equator pass through a cold place. If the map that they have is to be believed. So is that just a whole bunch of lies, and we can go forever with this thing here, but what's the point? The Bible already tell us what we need to believe, so we work with what the Bible says and we keep it moving. So yeah, as I said, anybody else, questions, comments before we stop the recording? No? All right, so that is where we stop for this evening. Next week, we solidify Yahweh's dwelling and prove further that there is no such thing as space. And if there is no space, then NASA is not to be believed, and anything that comes from NASA is a lie from the pit of hell. And we already know that the Hebrew word for deceive is NASA. All right?